Chiefs versus Ravens, it's game day, and it's all on the line to start a three-peat run. What has to happen coming up today on Locked On Chiefs?
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. It is game week and just about game night. I'm pumped for it. We're brought to you today by Prize Picks. Check out our friends over there because you can get it all done. And the best way to play daily fantasy sports is Prize Picks. You can win $50 instantly when you play $5. Don't even need to win it. You just need to play to receive that bonus. Prize Picks. Run your game. We are going to run our game and what this game needs to look like. This is Chris Clark from Chiefs Corner. I'm Ryan Tracy from NFL 33 and RGR Football and Rogue Analytics and Performance Consulting. Check out all those things and get subbed all the Substacks and everything Chris is putting out on Chiefs Corner and all of our content elsewhere. But it all comes down to this. We're going to be live for you post-game, a little bit delayed after the pressers when we get Matt Derrick, who will join us live as well to celebrate what this is. And that is the fact that we are free and available on every platform every day, always for free, starting here on YouTube where you can like and sub and get on to Spotify and Apple Podcasts to get the audio side. You can get that much more by joining our text line at 816-357-8781, where you're going to get some updated thoughts, breaking news, et cetera, et cetera. All of our locos hang out there. You everyday listeners, thanks for making us your first listen like they do. Now check out another Locked On show for the next one. Brand new format on Locked On NFL, my old show, so go check that out as well. We're going to cover flat out, what do they got to do to get this W? That's coming up later in the show. What are the primetime matchups? Team versus team, position versus position that will get that done. But we start, as we do every year, well, not every year, but a lot of years for the Kansas City Chiefs, is they are the only game in town to start this season because you're coming off of a Super Bowl win and they want to get you out front. That does two things. It puts a little bit of pressure on you and it gets that kind of nervousness, I feel, out of the way. Now, last year against the Lions, it was a little bit kind of, I don't know that I like that so much. The stakes in this game, I think, changes the whole scenario. And yes, there's going to be a lot of young players that play on this particular game, on this roster. We'll talk about that later. But I feel this is a bonus because you got to jump into the fire right off the bat and be ready to go for this season. I love it. How do you think the team deals with it, and what do you want to see?
You know, you go back and look at last year, and last year against the Lions, you go and you lose Travis Kelce the day before the game, and Chris Jones isn't playing, and you're missing two of your top three players and two of the guys that were in the top 10 of the NFL last year in the NFL's rankings. So, a lot to say that you lost in that game, and if you're being honest about it, Kadarius Toney pretty much gave the game away in that game. If he doesn't play in that game, they maybe win without him. But regardless, you look at this week, you look at this year, and you look at how this is going to play out. Kansas City has been building for this game the entire offseason, ever since it's been announced, the entire preseason, everything in training camp. They've been building for this week. And one of the things that I love about this, while it is one of those things where it puts a little bit more pressure on you, it also gives you a little bit of an extra mini bye week that all these other teams aren't going to get. Yeah, you're starting earlier, but you're also going to get a little bit of extra time between now and Cincinnati, which I think makes a big difference because one of the big things that goes into this game is I think Baltimore is going to be extremely physical, and I do expect that this is going to be a very physical game. So having those extra days is going to be a huge benefit. But one of the other things that really stood out to me is when you go back and you watch some of the preseason games, what you saw from Spagnuolo was stuff that you don't normally see. He's not normally blitzing. He's very vanilla in the preseason. He doesn't want to give things away. He doesn't want to show things off. But I think he's in a position where he was prepping specifically for this game. And one of the stats I tweeted out earlier talked about how much they blitz Lamar compared to what they blitz normally. And they turn up the blitz maybe even 10 to 15% almost on Lamar alone. And Lamar didn't get any better when it came to the pass catchers. We've already kind of talked about that this week. So that's going to be a problem. And you look at what it's going to mean for Derrick Henry. There's going to be some things there that they got to get figured out as well. But I do think that with what they were doing in the preseason, Spags was specifically targeting this game, as he should be, and trying to make sure he knew what his players were able to do with the new pieces and making sure the guys were ready to go for this week.
Yeah, I mean, and this is a consistent pattern where they prep and they prep and they prep. And some of the players, especially on the offensive side, have known that they're looking forward to this game really since camp started. Probably discussed in OTAs. There's a lot of wrinkles, but you know that this was a team that pushed you to your edge last year to get you to a championship. How do you then up the amperage? In particular, the defensive side, you're absolutely right. The planning is there. There's a lot of planning on the offensive side as well. And I do think that we should see a little bit more blow for blow in the run game, because I do think they're going to take their shots. Make no mistake about this. The deep game is back in Kansas City. How long it takes to show up is going to be the question. There's no better place than to make your point that, hey, we still got speed and we can still get behind you, than this game on Thursday night with the entire league captivated and watching on television. You want to scare some coordinators and some safeties? Just keep connecting passes to Xavier Worthy, to Rashee Rice. Although obviously Xavier's going to be the long speed, right? He can do a little bit of everything. And I do think, despite Hollywood Brown's absence, and he has been ruled out for this game, folks, you can trail on some speed behind Mecole Hardman. So I'm looking for some stacked formations, some dual wide receivers on those sides to really take advantage of that and just clear the top off of this defense. The thing that I'm betting on, and you tell me whether you think this is nuts or not, I do think the Ravens are going to take gambles. They're going to feel like they can come down and play man. No one's seen Xavier Worthy on an NFL field yet, and I think it's going to bite the Ravens. They are going to get a deep player 3 to Xavier Worthy. Do you think so?
I would say I think they're going to get deep plays. I don't know that they're all going to be Worthy. I do think that you made a good point. I think Hardman's going to be involved, and I'm not going to be shocked if a guy like Justin Watson, who isn't extremely fast but is fast enough, is another guy that they take advantage of and use that speed that he has, because that is one of Mahomes' favorite targets down the field, is trying to get Justin Watson. In the past couple of years, that's been one of his favorite targets. And yeah, they have different speed now and they can use it, but all of that speed on the field all at once is going to open things up. And I do think that there's also a possibility that they come out and they kind of shock everybody. I'm not expecting that they come out and take just go 10 runs in a row or anything like that. But I do think that there's also a pretty decent chance that they go 2 or 3 tight ends several times in the first 5 to 10 plays, because I think that that's something that they really wanted to focus on. And I think they want to try to get some of the power, get that established, and then go after him in the passing game. Because I think one of the things you're going to be looking at is, I think that they know that they have the passing attack that they can get going. And I think that they're figuring that the Ravens are going to expect them to attack them that way. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and they give the ball to Pacheco 2 or 3 times in the first drive, or 2 or 3 times in the first couple of snaps, just to see if they can get him going and really open things up on offense.
A lot of zigs, a lot of zags coming at you. Oh yeah, it'll be rough on me. It'll be wonderful. A lot of zigs, a lot of zags, but it comes down to man on man and scheme on scheme. What are the primetime matchups coming up next? PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active users. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And unlike other apps, PrizePicks, you just bet you against the numbers. Super simple. All you have to do is go more or less on 2 to 6 players of your choosing in a projection and watch the winnings roll in. Right now, they're giving you a deal. Caleb Williams, 1 yard. We've seen this deal for Patrick Mahomes before. Every week in September, that's right. You only need 1 yard to get a win right there. 4 weeks for free W's is what you're looking for over on PrizePicks. I really love that one. I love the over-under on Patrick Mahomes because it's about targets versus yards, and you can always get something that's Chiefs-related as well. So check it out. Download the PrizePicks apps right now. Use our code LOCKEDONNFL, and you get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNFL on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. Make sure you check out the brand new, fully revised Locked On NFL, because it's double the trouble. It's twice a day with my guy, Tyler, my old partner over there, as well as Tony Wiggins, giving you an AM and a PM of everything you need to know around the league. That's over on Locked On NFL. Get subbed over there today. This is what it comes down to: is you can have plans, you can have preparation, you got to go execute. And it comes down to a couple of players. Number one for me is, like you said, we know the pass game targets for the most part. We know that Derrick Henry's in town, but it comes down to the refreshed version of Lamar Jackson for me. And that means, unlike last year, I think you're going to have to spy or address him, particularly around the outside edges of the formations when he breaks the pocket with multiple players. Drew Tranquill in particular, Jaden Hicks as a secondary, because I don't want to overload the rookie. But you have to know where his escape routes, not just where Lamar is, but where his escape routes are on every single play. That takes vision. And so with Hicks a little bit farther off the line than Tranquill will be, in Tranquill's experience, I think that they can track that. I don't know that it's going to be three-man rush with a linebacker spy like we've seen in years past. I think it'll be more of a rotation, but you have to cover both edges. I think they will concentrate on collapsing the pocket inside to try to force him around the edges where he has great speed, and we're going to find out real fast what dropping this weight and being a smaller athlete has done for him in his run game.
Yeah, and that's going to be something that's going to be a huge key to this game is can they stop Lamar when he tries to use his legs, and can they make him pay in that regard? When you start looking into how this game shakes out, Derrick Henry obviously plays into it as well, and you start talking about Lamar being able to run and Henry being able to run, you're going to have two of those. You're going to have both those guys probably running. I would imagine their plan is to try to run 30 to 35 times. Now, not all of those are going to be planned runs by Lamar. There's going to be several that he's going to be pulling it down, but I do think that they figure that they're going to get 30 to 35 runs in this game because I think that's the style that they want to go with. It could be something completely different. We'll see. But the one thing in the matchup that I'm most looking forward to is Odafe Oweh going against Kingsley Suamatia. Because to me, this is where it's going to come down to. Kansas City has to be able to protect Mahomes. Suamatia's first start in the NFL in a real game that matters. And it's going to be on the league's biggest stage that they have right now. And that is going to be a huge deal. Can he, is he going to hold up under the pressure? Is he going to be able to keep Mahomes upright? Don't get me wrong. I expect he's a rookie. He's not going to be perfect. He's going to allow some mistakes. He's going to have some mistakes. He hasn't played with Joe Thuney in the preseason at all. So I do think that that's also possibly something that's going to crop up and could be an issue. But I do think that this is a situation that we're going to see a lot of what they got when it comes to Suamatia in this game, because he's going to be attacked and Baltimore is going to attack him often. They're going to try to take advantage of it. And I think that that's going to be something that really could make or break this game for Kansas City.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's going to be key. Always defending Patrick Mahomes is the start of how you run your offense. On the other side, though, it's about receptions as well. The other key matchup that I see out there, despite what I do feel has to be a deep game to Xavier Worthy, it's about getting at them where they live and breathe, the guys that they trust. And I think it's going to come down to Rashee Rice in the past game, taking advantage of what I think they're going to throw at him with Marlon Humphrey, with a rotation of secondary players. I think you're going to see Nate Wiggins on Xavier quite a bit just because of the speed aspect and try to mirror that, right? So
Agreed.
Then the secondary becomes your first options. Kelce, you're looking deep. Who's the guy intermediate that could take the most advantage of it? I think it's going to be Rashee Rice. And as you mentioned the other day, a kind of a renewed feeling for how well he's able to perform. He's got to use the physicality that he has, the acceleration and understanding in year two, where not just to be for Patrick's expectation, but how to position himself to receive the ball and then be able to attack the defense. I think that's the key thing that I'm looking for Rashee Rice. And if he's able to do that, it takes off for the rest of the offense.
It absolutely does. And you talk about, the passing offense, and it's really going to be flowing through Rashee Rice in this game. One of the other key matchups, and this is just a smaller one, but it was the key matchup in the AFC Championship game, was Travis Kelce versus Kyle Hamilton. You look at how that played out, and you look at how important that was. Kelce obviously had the better of Hamilton on that day, and you go back and watch some of those plays. Hamilton still played very well. It's just you can't defend some things sometimes. And Mahomes and Kelce are on a different level when it comes to their chemistry and what they're able to do. But you go back to talking about Rashee Rice for a second. You look at what he's going to be going into this game with. He should have had a touchdown the last time. We talked about that a couple of days ago. But he was progressing and getting better and better and better each and every game after, a slow start to his rookie season. And I think that that's going to be a huge takeoff this game. And you made a great point. Nate Wiggins versus Worthy, I think that they're going to use that for the speed. Good luck keeping Rashee Rice down because you've already got to take care of Travis Kelce. And I can't imagine, while I think they want to put Hamilton one-on-one against Travis Kelce, I can't imagine after the way the AFC Championship game went that they're going to be able to do that and think that they're going to be successful with it. And from every account that we've seen, Travis looks like he is locked in and very excited and very pumped up for this game and ready to get the season started. And that is not going to be good for the Baltimore Ravens defense.
Travis Kelce is certainly locked on, as we are, as you are. But it comes down to this. At the end of the day, whatever the matchups are, you got to go win. How do they get this win? Coming up next. When you're hiring for a small business, you want to find the quality professionals with the right fit for the right role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. It has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team. I'm always looking at LinkedIn. It isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you find professionals you can't find anywhere else. Even those who aren't actively looking or searching for a new job might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get qualified candidates within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. It goes down the easiest way to post your job for free is on linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Make sure that you're liked and subbed. And if you want on the text line for all the breaking news and our instant insights, including some in-game, you can get on over at 816-357-8781. That is our insider text line for you locos that listen every single day. Now, there's one thing to have a matchup and know what it is. There's another thing to go get it done. What are some of the keys here? We're going to go through our big three, Chris. What's number one for you to get this win?
I think the big number one on this is to keep Derrick Henry under probably 100 yards. I would like to go less and go to 75. The problem is that you get into a situation where you have Lamar Jackson, who's a dual threat quarterback, and you have Derrick Henry. And when you have those types of weapons in this system, it's going to be very hard. You're going to have to sell out against the run. And when you're expecting a pass, good luck. This defense is going to be really tested in week one. And one of the things that we didn't really discuss, and I think is a huge key in this, is Kansas City's defense hasn't usually started the season very quickly. They did to an extent last year, but they haven't generally in the past. And if they start slowly against Baltimore, this game could get out of hand. I don't think that it's going to, but they need to start quick. They need to they need to set the tone, and they need to keep Henry under 100 yards. And I expect that he's going to get all of at least 15 to 20 carries.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. My top one is an old adage from one of my D-line coaches back in the day: controlled aggression. You have to go take this game to them. New defensive coordinator, solid defensive team. That may give you a little opportunity here in week one to take advantage of. You have to go exploit that. It cannot be the sit back and be vanilla first game of the season Andy Reid special, right? You have to go get it. And that includes using all your receivers. And honestly, if they complete a deep pass to Worthy in particular, but anybody, that's going to pull back some of the defense, the secondary in particular. You then have to take advantage of that. If they give you light boxes, you have to cram it down their throats with Pacheco and Carson Steele. And I do like a 1-2 punch there, because whatever they're going to give you, smash it down their throats and take advantage of it. This is a bit of a switch in the mentality that usually we don't see until the playoffs. But we need to see it now, because getting off on a losing streak would be a negative. But if you can do this in front of the entire league, everything we talked about this show, that feeds into your confidence loop, bringing your rookies and new players along, and makes everything better for next week against the Bengals.
You know, I would take that and extend it a little bit, and I'll have another goal here. I'll have a goal here in just a second. But you look at this game, and to me, you're going up against the team you played in the AFC Championship. What kind of message does it send? If Andy Reid comes in here and scores 35 points on the Ravens? I don't care what they give up defensively, but if they put up 35 points against the Ravens, that sends a huge message to the rest of the NFL, because they're still not going to be 100% healthy. They won't have Hollywood Brown. but we've been talking all offseason. Their weapons are much better than they were last year. Offensively, this team should be better than they were last year. And 35 points against just about any team in the NFL last year really would have been, or, a couple of years ago would have been about the norm for the Chiefs. Last year, they struggled to get to 27, 28 sometimes, and sometimes even less than that. So to me, you have to be able to score points. And if you're Andy Reid, you can't afford to look at this game and think that you can take your foot off the gas. And I don't think that it's a situation where maybe the Ravens could come back and beat you, but it's a situation where you want to make a statement in this game, and you want to make a statement to the rest of the NFL that the Chiefs aren't just here to try to win this game. They're here to crush you, and they're here to win the championship for the third year in a row. And you do that by making a statement, and you do that by scoring a ton of points. So really that's my goal, is get over 30 points in this game and attack the entire I will just expand on yours a little bit. Attack the entire game. Use Mahomes, use Worthy, use Travis Kelce, use Rashee Rice. Get in Jared Wiley. Get in all the different pieces that you have. Use them to their fullest advantage. Use Samaje Perine, who is going to play in this game, in the different aspects, and take a little bit of pressure off Pacheco. Take advantage of what the Ravens give you, absolutely, but always be attacking and always try to score as much as you possibly can, and don't get to a point where you just kind of start mailing it in the third or fourth quarter, because Reid has done that multiple times when they're up multiple scores, and then it becomes a close game. There's no reason that this should be a close game if they take off and they do things the way that they should.
Yeah, you have to go for it. I'm completely with you. Any other small ways to get this W from you?
Obviously, don't give up the ball. Mahomes has been pretty good about that. He was phenomenal in the playoffs. I think he's going to be locked into a whole new level this year, going into this one. So, and locked on for sure. So don't turn the ball over. The big key, and this is a little bit bigger than just a small key, but if they could find a way to get to be a defense that would force turnovers this year, as opposed to what they did last year, they were a very good defense and didn't allow a ton of points. The only way you're going to do that this year, I think, is if you're able to force more turnovers, because their defensive staff took a little bit of a step back. There's going to be some adjustment. They need to force more turnovers versus what they did last year.
I completely agree with you. Take them away. Don't give them up. What do you guys think are the keys? Leave your comments down below here on YouTube and in the reviews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Any last thoughts?
What's your prediction?
I wasn't going to go there tonight because I'm feeling a little overconfident at this point. So I'm just going to say they break the 30 barrier and they're able to control the Ravens enough. I think it's 31-27 in week 1.
Yeah, I'm going to go 34-27, Kansas City. I think that when you look at this offense and you look at what they should be able to do, 34 points against just about any team in the NFL shouldn't be that hard, or shouldn't be that big of a deal. And I know the Ravens are going to be a good team, but one of the keys, and you said this earlier, is that they are playing a new defensive scheme. They have a new coordinator. They have new players. And all that doesn't necessarily come together with 3 preseason games at training camp. So
fair enough.
I think there could be some issues on their end.
Absolutely. Now, remember, we will be live post-game, a little bit delayed after the presser. So I'll be live on RGR first. You can come over there, and then we'll get to our breakdown with Matt Derrick, who will join us that night. Leave your predictions below. Make sure that you sub over on KC Chiefs Corner on NFL 33 and over at RGR Football. We hope that you are ready for this, because we certainly are. Welcome back. It's real football. That's it for us today. Make sure you are set for Chiefs opening round win against the Ravens coming up on Thursday night. We will talk to you post-game.